In this video, we're going to take a look at solving compound inequalities. So a compound inequality, we've got two types. We've got an and inequality, where x is in between two numbers. X is greater than a and less than b, for example. That's an and, a conjunction. We've got a disjunction, which is an or inequality, where we can say x is less than a or x is greater than b. Let's see how these two work. So here's an inequality. We have two things written together here. We've got a negative 10 on this side and a 16, so a little weird with two inequalities. This is an and inequality. What this is saying is that 2x plus 4 is both greater than or equal to negative 10, and it's less than 16. Both of those are true at the same time. So the first thing we need to do is write two inequalities. So we've got to separate it. Negative 10 is less than or equal to 2x plus 4. And what also has to be true is that 2x plus 4 is less than 16. Kind of like what we did with an absolute value. So both of these have to be equal. Then we didn't change any signs or anything. We just separated it into two. So we looked at this half here, and then we looked at this half here. Okay, so two inequalities. And now we just solve them like we should be familiar with solving them before. So we subtract 4. Try that again. Okay. And we get negative 14 is less than or equal to 2x. Divide by 2. And we get negative 7. X is greater than or equal to negative 7. And here, subtract 4. 2x is less than 12. Divide by 2. And we get x is less than 6. So now we can put these back together because these things are both true at the same time. X is greater than or equal to negative 7, and it's less than 6. So what we can do here now is we're going to make a number line, and we're going to graph this. Something like this. Okay, so let's graph on our number line. So over here somewhere we've got negative 7. Over here somewhere we've got 6. You don't need to write all the dots in between. But at negative 7 is included, so we need a solid dot there. 6 is not included, and we need to graph all of these things in between. So there we go. All of the numbers in between. Okay, so there's our graph and our inequality. Here's an or inequality. This is already separated for us. So what we just need to do is solve this. Add 5. Solve them separately. 3x is less than 15. Divide by 3. And x is less than 5. So let's subtract 17 from this side. And we get negative 12 is less than or greater than or equal to negative 2x. And we divide by negative 2. And remember, when you divide by negative, we're going to flip the sign. Don't forget to flip the sign if you divide by negative. So what we have here is we've got two inequalities. X is less than 5 or x is greater than 6. Don't try to put these together. You cannot put these together. Okay? Let's try our graph here again. At 5 and at 6, we're going to have some dots. Open dot at 5 because it's not or equals to here. Then we have a closed dot at 6 because it is included. And then we're going to shade. X is less than 5, so we got all the ones that are less than here. And x is greater than or equal to 6. So that's all these guys to the right. So there's our graph of the or inequality. We've got these two arrows going off to the side. It's or because you can't have them both at the same time. Okay, last little example. We've got a certain machine that operates properly when the relative humidity, H, satisfies this inequality. Okay, we want to find out what H is to find the range of values for which the machine will operate properly. So let's take our inequality, negative 60 is less than or equal to 2 times H minus 50. Now this is an AND inequality, so let's go ahead and separate it. 2 times H minus 50 is less than or equal to 60. Okay, let's just solve them separately. Distribute. Let's add 100. We got 160 is less than or equal to 2H. Divide by 2. And so now we know that H has to be greater than or equal to 80. So we know the bottom end. Let's distribute over here. Let's add 60. I'm sorry, let's add 100 to that. Something happened here. Let's back up. Did you catch my mistake? There it is. This is actually going to be 40, right? That looks better. Divide by 2, divide by 2. We get 20, because that's negative 60 plus 40. Now over here, let's bring this back. Now we're going to get 80 on this end. Add 100, add 100, and 2H is less than 160. Divide by 2, and H is less than 80. There we go, much better. This is an AND inequality, so we can put it back together. H is less than 80 and greater than or equal to 20. That is the range of values that would work for this machine. That's how compound inequalities work. Remember, an AND inequality can be written together, an OR inequality cannot. But if we have an AND inequality and you're trying to solve it, separate it into two, solve both of them, and then you can put it back together. But don't try to put an OR inequality together. They have to be written separate with the word OR.